What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get it going. Happy Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. Let's get back into it. Let's talk about this Major League Baseball betting card. It's an exciting time to be alive with the playoffs right around the corner. I know we've been doing a lot more football on the channel, but we still do the baseball coverage every single day. Yesterday, we did take a day off. I had to take care of some stuff within my house. But we are back up and running, and now as we break down this card, we'll look at all these games, and I'll give you 5 best bets that I'll have for this evening. And don't sleep on it, all right? Don't sleep on it. There's a lot of angles. You start to see teams lay down. They start to try out new young guns, test the waters for next year. A lot of coaches are also looking at where does their career kind of evolve from here. There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, and that's kind of where we lend to with some of these bets, as well as the whole rest and conceding of your season that also comes into question. So there's a lot of moving parts, but that's where I still look for value. There's a lot of plays out there, and right now there's a lot of teams that need to win to get in, to put it simply. So we're going to be shooting those angles. Yesterday, for the baseball bets that I did make, it was a very good day. Just playing some angles, right? You can look at teams that need a clinch, need to win to get in. There was also the Otani narrative with the 50 and 50 club, as well as teams that clinch. Conversely, what are they going to do that night before? Well, they're going to go out and get absolutely shit hammered and come back and try to play a baseball game, which it works. It works. You can hit the baseball hungover, but when you're trying to show up against a team that has to win to get in, usually doesn't bode well. Okay, so a lot of storylines coming on into tonight's games. Let's get into it. If you guys haven't done so, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to join on Discord, totally free. Links down below if you want to become a channel member as well. Join us here at TBM, and please follow me on X if you have not already done so. Okay, but let's get into it. Let's look into what's going on right here in the odds jam, and you can see right now, guys, Pittsburgh in Cincinnati. That will be the first game we're going to talk about. And when we talk about this game, something worth noting, okay, is the fact that both of these clubs pretty much are donezo. And looking at the NL Central, right, and how that's all shaping out, that's been kind of one of the races that has been, I guess you would call it, kind of underappreciated, right? And it's crazy where you have to just tip your cap to the Brewers, right? With a lot of their postseason appearances that they've made. If you would have asked me before the season, would that have happened? If you would have asked me at the All-Star break who was going to make the postseason, that would have been a very, very tough one. But I want to pull up the MLB playoff chances, and there's a great website out there that I use. Okay, and this is it's playoffstatus.com. If you guys want to get into them, they do all sports, but within the Major League playoff picture, we can look at that, and you can see right now. This is just what we're going to lean to, okay? The Cubs are essentially eliminated. We see the Cardinals are essentially eliminated, and we do get the fact that we do see the Pirates and the Reds also. They are 100% eliminated. So really leaves us with a game that doesn't really matter, okay? So Nick Martinez, Mitch Keller, this is where you could look into a no-run first inning candidate. This is where I would go. Also, the Reds at home, minus 114. I think that's warranted. So that would be where I lean in that game. Okay, Washington and Chicago. We can talk about this till we're blue in the face. Trevor Williams has been the only bright spot really for that Washington Nationals club. And plus 153 for the Nats. That would be kind of with a value play for me. What do we get? I think that the Cubs will be a little bit loyal to their fans at Wrigley. We still get day baseball, 2:20 first pitch. Jameson Taillon on the bump, and I do look for possibly the Nationals come in there. If you like them on the run line too at minus 130, that's not a bad kind of situation. But if we talk about kind of what's going on within the Nationals, they are a walking, talking dumpster fire. Losing 7-6 to the Cubs yesterday, getting blanked, basically a deficit of them scoring 2 runs and giving up 22 runs conversely to the streaking New York Mets. So their run differential has been absolutely atrocious. And yesterday was the first chance they've gotten since basically back, almost a week ago, close to winning a baseball game. So, I like the value on the Nationals, not in love with it. But if you did want to take them on the run line, I could see that as well. But if you probably wanted to ask me who, it would be either the 2 ways to approach this game. It would be Nationals on the money line, just taking that plus 150, or you could take the The Cubs -1.5 at plus money. That's probably how I would attack this game. All right, but no play for me. Blue Jays and Rays. Now, this has been an exciting kind of matchup because, once again, we look at the playoff picture and you can see kind of what's happening within them. You can talk about the AL picture, and the Blue Jays and the Rays essentially have been eliminated. So they're not going to be in the postseason, and now we get a matchup where I think the Blue Jays definitely have a little bit of an edge in this one. And I'll tell you what, man, I think this is kind of off topic, but as a Guardians fan, I really wish that the Indians would have made a move and went after Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think he was available, and they have the farm system to do it. The Dolans just don't spend money, and that's just kind of the age-old mantra, but that's kind of where we're at as we get into this game. For me, this would be a lean on the Blue Jays at plus money with Berrios on the bump, but I'm not going to bet this one because you don't really, quite frankly, know who's going to show up to play baseball today, all right? And then we can talk about the one that actually does matter. This is where we get a matchup between the Detroit Tigers and the Baltimore Orioles. And now we get Corbin Burns going for the Orioles. And this has kind of been the storyline, right? The Indians have the Central locked up for the most part, barring like some lightning strike. But they're in. They've clinched. And now you have the Royals and the Twins and the Tigers. So the AL Central, very similar to the NL West. Who's going to get in? Before the season started, you would have thought the AL East would have been the logjam. Well, here we go. We get it with the AL Central. And now that we look at this Baltimore Orioles team that can't get out of their own way, I mean, it is just absolutely abysmal. And you talk about the players. And one thing I will tell you, once you get in this funk with baseball, you do need to get a little slump buster. If you guys know what I'm talking about, shout out to any of you guys who know exactly what I'm talking about. But Baltimore in this spot, okay, winning 2 out of their last 5, and they got kind of handled by the Detroit Tigers. So let's not forget that, losing 2 out of 3 to the Tigers just last week. So they have literally won 3 out of their last 12 games. It's been absolutely horrible. We've been on the bad side of that because we have taken Baltimore in some spots. And Corbin Burns now going against the Tigers, who, by all accounts, it looks like to be a staff day where they're going to roll out the bullpen here and attack it from an individual inning spot. This is kind of where I'd like to get on the Orioles at -172, but we look at the other end of the spectrum, and you talk about Detroit and what they've been able to do, winning 4 out of their last 5, and quite frankly, they've done the opposite. They've won like 9 out of their last 12. So I kind of looked at the Tigers, and you don't really bet against a streaking team, and you don't really bet for a streaking team on the losing side to snap out of it. So this is kind of a wait-and-see approach. They need to win the game, all right, and needing to win the game is a lot different than me needing to win my bet. So I'm not going to bet it, but the Detroit and Orioles at -172, it's hard not to back the Orioles. I just don't like them in the spot, right? I want to see the Tigers kind of hit a little bit of a slump, and then we'll be on the early side of that and kind of kick it into gear. But no play for me, even though the Baltimore Orioles are probably the most desperate team to get a win on this entire card that we have on this Friday. Now, we'll go down the board a little bit, and we'll talk about the Minnesota-Boston game. This is David Festa and Richard Fitz. Quite simple handicap. Both of these teams, like we've talked about, we look at them, and they have essentially been eliminated as well, except for the Twins. So the Twins need to win the game. David Festa has been that guy. Now, this may be a little Discord play of the day, but I'm going to put it here in the video because, quite frankly, I think that what I've been seeing is a lot of people skip to the end, so I like to sneak in some nuggets every once in a while. But David Festa, okay, let's talk about him. Last 3 starts that he's had in September. He's got 5 innings, 4 innings, 3.2 pitch. So we're averaging about 4 and a little bit of a change, okay? He doesn't go long. Over the last 2 months, in the months of August, he's only hit 6 innings pitched once. So he's kind of trending in that, you look in that 4 to 5 innings pitched. That's kind of what your expectation is. And when he does pitch, though, the one thing about him is he does get strikeouts, okay? He gets strikeouts, and I think we're going to look into the odds jam right now because I want to show you guys kind of where my head's at. Not necessarily something I'm going to bet, but we will track this number because this is where we look at player strikeouts. In a game where Boston's kind of done, if we get a strikeout pitcher, you see this number set at 5.5. Best number available at -118. All right, I'm not going to go chasing it. Look at his last few outings. This is one where it's trending away from that, but I do think that if he does go 5 innings, every time he's went 5 innings or more, he does eclipse this mark. So He's actually done it back on August 23rd with only 3 2/3 innings pitched. He hit 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, and 6 innings as well. So if Festa can go 5 innings, this over 5.5 strikeouts will be my kind of my best bet of the day. It's just the age-old question: does he go 5 innings? And not having a start against the Red Sox this year, we don't have really any data to go off of, but that will be kind of one of the angles I look to approach. If you guys are into props, David Festa, take his alternate strikeouts as well if you just want to take that 5, if you guys are going to bet any same-game parlays or anything along those lines. So that's where I would be at if I was going to play the Minnesota-Boston game, and the Twins need to win this game. So we'll see how long of a leash they have. They might leave him out there a little bit longer. But 2-6 on the season, 5 ERA. There's no question why he does get a short leash and get yanked. So that's where my thoughts are and my head's at within the Twins. Plus 100, though, on the money line. Okay, plus 100 there on the money line. That is kind of a really attractive proposition just due to the fact that they need a win. The Red Sox are throwing out, it looks like a little staff day, and one of their, I think one of their prospects, right, coming up, getting activated. So we'll see what happens. The Twins, they're kind of in the same discussion as what we've seen from the Orioles. They are just losing baseball games. They're taking on water. They're bleeding out. And this is a spot, though, where I do like Minnesota. I just like the Festa strikeout market. Him and King are kind of like my two guys where I volley back and forth when the spot allows for it, okay? Back into it, let's talk about the next game on the card. We have the Philadelphia Phillies and New York Mets. That will be a best bet for me, right? We are going to be going chalky as hell. We are going to take the under 7.5, and I'm not going to be mad about it because look at Christopher Sanchez's numbers over his last few outings, his last starts, and conversely going against David Peterson, who a little bit late to the party, but if you guys want to get a little risky, by all accounts, he would have got some form. He probably will get some form of Cy Young votes, all right, but just not enough to go off of. But last start, I mean, even one run, he had one bad outing in the last 10 starts. He's had one bad outing where he's given up 4 runs, okay, 4 earned. Otherwise, you get 1 earned, 2 earned, or less out of David Peterson. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Not enough value to take this on the first 5, although that's kind of how I would approach it if I could. But we're going to just go for it here. 7.5 for me. We're going to trust Christopher Sanchez as well. Let's take the under. This is a game where it's going to be a little testy because I think that if we look into the playoff picture that we have going for the Phillies and the Mets, okay, and this is where it gets a little murky, the Mets have a chance of not making the playoffs. So they're going to be coming in hot. We do look for the Phillies, obviously the best record that they have, 91-62 on the season. They're in, and now that the Mets are pretty much the only thing left to take care of business, that's kind of where we're at. So let's go for the Mets. They need to keep winning, but I just think that this is a spot where the number is kind of inflated. I think plus 100, though, for the Mets is a great bet. Truthfully, right now I just like Christopher Sanchez, the way he's pitching as well. So for me, the best play that you can make is on the under 7.5. Maybe we'll get a taste of a little playoff baseball, a little 2-1 spot, a little action like that, going towards the under. So that's where I'm at within the Mets in this 7-10 first pitch. Apple TV at Citi Field. Really do like watching Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV, by the way. If you guys don't do that, check it out. Goes really nice with my MLB Extra Innings package. But I digress. Let's get back into it. The Braves and the Marlins, another spot, right? We need the Braves to win. They need to win for themselves. It's basically a coin flip if they're going to get in. Really most disappointing team, I think, on the season for me has been the Braves, albeit they've had injuries and they've been plagued by injuries once more. But I do like Atlanta in the spot, and that's kind of where I'm going to take them. I think that we look at the Marlins, see what happened yesterday. You don't lose 20-4, have no shot of making the playoffs, and then just wake up one day and say, you know what, damn it, we're going to go play like our lives depend on it. So I think Atlanta gets this one done. I think Miami's thrown in the towel. This is in South Beach. If I lost 20-4 and really I knew I had a job next year, I can tell you one thing: I'd be going right down to those neon lights down there in South Beach, and checking out kind of what the evenings have to offer. So that's kind of where I'm at. Atlanta needs to win this game. They're going to be on a business trip. Sometimes I like the road teams more than the home teams when you have to win a game. Sometimes it's easier to just pack your shit, go on the road, stay away from the distractions, and stay in the hotel and get a victory. So For this, we're going to go Braves run line minus 114. Charlie Morton, we'll back him here in this spot against Belozo, so that's my best bet for that matchup. Okay, Seattle and Texas. That's the next one where I came this close to biting it and drinking the Kool-Aid. All right, but we are going to kind of go opposite here. DeGrom, I think he's going to be on a pitch count. Going against Kirby, Seattle, we can talk about them until we're blue in the face and what they have to do. Seattle basically has to win to clinch. 96% chance to get in the playoffs right now. And I think that Texas, looking from the outside in, they are not going to make the playoffs. The Mariners, 96% chance that the Mariners do not get in. Both of these teams are essentially eliminated. The Mariners do have a little bit of a breath left in them, so I think they play a little bit harder. But by all accounts, I think this is going to be kind of just, oh hey, let's show DeGrom off to the folks there in the stadiums. Let's get some ticket sales, and then we'll just see what happens. There's no edge in taking win or loss in this game on either side. So I did want to back the under, but then I thought about it, and I just realized, there's a good chance DeGrom only goes about 50, 60 pitches, and then they just basically get shellacked in the bullpen. So first 5 under would be my lean if I was going to bet this game. All right. Diamondbacks, Brewers, we talked about that. We're going right back to Arizona on the money line. Zach Gallen and Colin Ray. Right now, this is what it comes down to. The Diamondbacks need a win. I don't trust the fact that the Brewers are going to show up today. And the Diamondbacks winning last night convincingly. Keep that momentum going. We're going to back that. I think it's a train that I want to be on. So Diamondbacks minus 118. That'll be another best bet that I have. Okay. And then Kansas City, San Francisco. This is something where it's kind of weird that they're playing this game. This is where you look at San Francisco going to the Royals. Now the Royals have to win. They have to win. They're probably going to get into the playoffs. There's a 14% chance they don't get into the playoffs. And Mason Black, kind of that pitcher where you want to be facing if you want to, if you need to win a baseball game. So Michael Wacha going for the Royals. It's a great spot for them. They're at home. This is a Royals play on the money line. I don't like the minus 152. I think there's better bets out there, but if I was going to bet it, it's $1.52 for the Royals for me in this spot. Okay, Angels, Astros. Somebody help me and understand what happened yesterday. I didn't bet that game, but when we look at the Angels and the Astros from yesterday's spot, it's just a weird game. And I think that you look at the Astros, this is something that I think goes underspoken with Justin Verlander coming back into form a little bit. We'll see if he actually gets there and stays healthy. But the Astros might have the best postseason rotation that we have in baseball. Okay, you look top to bottom, and if you guys think otherwise, make sure you leave your comments down below. But with the Dodgers' health issues, we look at kind of these clubs. I don't trust the Yankees. I sure as hell don't trust the Dodgers rotation. And then you look at kind of what we have going on with the Mariners. If they don't get in, it would probably go to the Mariners. But we look at it. I mean, who are you going to go with? The Phillies, Mets, or maybe top to bottom, you go with the Houston Astros. I think that's kind of where I'm at. Maybe a little controversial, but that's kind of where my head's at. And I think this postseason, this is what's going to be beautiful about October baseball. It's wide open. It is wide open for the taking. You look at some of the postseason futures odds. Go down that odds board. You can find some crazy exactas if you want to take World Series matchups. For me, I'm more of a chalky bettor when it comes to that, but you could find 50 to 1, 75 to 1, 100 to 1 in a lot of different markets for that World Series matchup. Very exciting kind of bet too if you do get it home. Like the one year we had the Royals bettor. That there's that famous bettor that makes those huge World Series predictions. Not the mattress guy, but there's another guy out there that is known for it, and he had the Royals for like $1 million or something at a crazy multiple. So winning that bet, it's just you can really make money with baseball futures due to the variance that lies within. Okay, but this is another spot where we talked about the Angels in the same breath as the White Sox and the Marlins. Look for the Astros to win this game soundly. Yesterday's game, it kind of caught me off guard when I saw that it was only 3-1. So I was just wondering if it was just that bad of a hitting performance. I mean, both teams had 6 hits, but the Angels kicked the ball around a little bit, 3 errors. I think that was the story of the game. So for me, it's going to be the Astros here in the spot run line. That would be my play. Just lay the chalk because the teams that need a win to get in, that's kind of the storyline as we're moving forward throughout this, okay? But once they do clinch, then we can start thinking, okay, let's go for a little bit of variance because they're going to start resting guys, albeit needing to keep some momentum. No play for me in Guardians and the Cardinals. We do get Ben Lively going, which has been a little bit of a bright spot going against Kyle Gibson. This is a no-run first inning bet for me. Don't be shy of that one. That is something where I look at St. Louis at home, sometimes struggling to hit the baseball. But now we look at the Cardinals here, and this is something where they're out of the playoffs. But I think Gibson gives us a couple good innings, and I look for Ben Lively to do the same. So I would go no-run first innings in Guardians Cardinals matchup. Okay, and then we do have 2 more bets left that I'm going to give you on my best bets. We'll hit those both at the end, but the Yankees Athletics, no play for me, just too much variance. Garrett Cole, don't trust them, and the Athletics, plus 180. They're kind of in that same breath as waving that white flag. JT Ginn, 5 ERA. It would really shock me if the Yankees don't go up there and just absolutely destroy them, but it's something where I don't trust betting against the Athletics when they have these kind of spots where they're big dogs, and you could just see them being a scrappy little, like 5-6 run output, and then you end up getting them to come home on the money line. They've been kind of my underdog play for the season. If we had to give out postseason awards to which teams, looking at my betting history, and we break that down, which underdogs I do bet towards, and some of my spreadsheets do say that, but I do actually track that where I do find myself favoring certain teams throughout the course of the year, and the Athletics have been one of those plus money teams if you guys have been betting with me. But White Sox, Padres, that'll be the next game that we do have a play in. I just think this is where the Padres catch them sleepwalking. They're just having a lot of fun playing the game of baseball. Look at the offensive numbers. Speaks for itself. Musgrove, they're going to look to get him activated, get him hot before we get into the postseason where it's a whole different style of baseball, okay? And I look for the Padres in here. Cover the run line, plus 100, minus 1.5. That's my best bet that we'll have in this game. Too good a value. If you've been betting the run line against the White Sox throughout the course of the season, you know how much more of a profitable venture it's been than any other bet in baseball this year. And why are we quitting going against one of the hotter lineups right now going in the game? So Padres minus 1.5 on the run line at plus money. And then to conclude the card, we're going to talk about the Dodgers Rockies that we have going on. Kyle Freeland going against a Dodgers club that just scored 20 runs. This game's not being played in Coors Field. But the Rockies have been one of those over teams, and we look at kind of their output. They're scoring runs in any team that can put up 20 runs in any given day, right? And I know it's against the Marlins, and the Marlins at home are a home over team. But give me the Dodgers to score a lot of runs in this spot. I'm actually kind of curious while we're on the subject. I'm going to scroll down here for you guys, and that way we can see the numbers. Those are the best numbers available. We are going to pull up the market because I want to see what the total is for the Dodgers here on the team total. One of my favorite bets of the season. And yeah, it's laughing us right dead in the face. So kind of a bonus bet here would be the Dodgers over 5.5 runs. If you can find a 4.5 juiced up, fantastic. But for me, over 5.5 runs at plus money, that's a very, very good value. I think being at home, and then we get them off of a 20-run performance with all the steam with Ohtani. There's a lot of fanfare. I think they're going to welcome him back with open arms. They come back, and you don't want to just start not hitting the baseball all of a sudden. Baseball is streaky. You could be the best team in the sport, and then all of a sudden you catch a 3-4 game streak where your top of the lineup's really struggling to put the bat on the ball, and that's where you could really find yourself in a bad position in a best of 3 in that first round of the playoffs going against a scrappy young bunch. And that's kind of why nobody wants to play the Cleveland Guardians in the postseason. So that's kind of where I'm at. A little bonus bets I threw out there. We got the Festa over strikeouts, the Dodgers over team total. Those are kind of really strong leans for me. But my 5 best bets today for this evening's card, and afternoon, I should say, is going to be right here. If you guys haven't done so, though, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Down below, here are my best bets for this evening. Please also check us out on X. The handle is in the bottom left of your screen. I know a lot of people here on the channel don't use Twitter, and that's okay. But Twitter is kind of something that I'm picking up on too, because quite frankly, it's kind of the new way of doing things in real time, right? But the majority of my stuff out there, it's probably new to a lot of people, so I understand. But if you guys want to follow me on that platform as well as Discord, appreciate it. And it's something that the Discord's a really fun place to be, especially if you're just watching a game by yourself. Friends are being lame. You got a nice little nice little community there to just shoot the shit with and talk sports. But for me, that's kind of what I got. That's what I'll leave you with. Good luck with your your bets, your picks, all that good stuff. Let's cash some tickets, and I will see you guys later as we talk. We get into the Friday college football slate. We will have a Saturday rundown later on, as well as the Sunday NFL as always. So make sure you turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.